Hey, this is the Well Advice Channel too. What I want to talk about today is the topic of why do so many people hate the right wing. So for this video, I'm going to explain in a simple and straightforward way so even those unfamiliar with this topic can understand it, why so many people hate the right wing, as well as a lesson that people can learn from this situation, okay? So now that I've mentioned that, let's get started. So when it comes to the topic of why do so many people hate the right wing, and not just hate it like in terms of how they see them, but also are willing to never, ever, 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 ever vote for them, no matter the circumstance, it simply comes down to the fact that the right wing have done a terrible job in confronting the racist parts of their party. Okay, let's speak the honest truth here. Okay, so even though which before I continue off my point, I just want to make it clear, even though I'm a left-wing person, so people are automatically going to assume, well, you obviously have a personal bias here. I'm actually not putting any of my personal biases here. I'm just speaking honest truth, which I have actually spent a lot of time, criticizing the new wave of the left wing, it's post 2016 onward, the woke radical left. So don't think I'm being biased here. I just want to make this clear to people. So don't send any stupid messages to me thinking I'm being biased. I'm speaking honest truth without any biases being attached. Okay, so I just want to make that clear before we continue on with this video. Okay, so now that I've gone out of the way, back on to what I was saying for this video. The simple truth of the matter is that when it comes to this particular topic, is that the right wing have not done a very good job in confronting the racist base, specifically, of course, the leaders, because they're the ones who actually, let's be honest, people actually care about and are actually just straight up, to even be more specific, actually relevant in the world. To speak the honest truth, okay? They're the ones people actually care about, to be quite blunt and honest with you, okay? So, of course, what they say is going to have more weight than what some everyday random person says who's right, happens to be right wing, more like, okay? So I'm just speaking honest truth here, because the thing about someone who actually focuses on what right wingers think, okay? And I've actually been on videos that right wingers tend to watch, whether it could be Valuetainment, another one is Timcast, another one, of course, you can add to that as well. Aside from that one, like Just Pearly Things, which she changed her name to Just Pearl, and even the more radical elements of the right-wing party, like Alex Jones, all that type of stuff, like those type of people that right-wingers actually watch, that a lot of people outside of the right wing are not too familiar with, and even just straight up never heard of, okay? I've actually read the comments those people make and stuff, and I've been there, not just in the comment sections, I've been, to some of their enclaves online, which I'm not going to go too much into detail about that, but I've been there, okay? So I have an idea of what they think, okay? And when I see certain videos come up related to those type of people, I always see racist comments. We're not even talking about a small percentage. Every comment is freaking racist, okay? Like, maybe they might talk about a topic of, it could be, did a black person invent this, or a video talking about a black person committing a crime, yada yada, whatever. You just see bare racist comments, okay? Every comment, like 90% or more of the comments, okay? For all the comments, 90% of them are just straight up racist comments, okay? Like Usual Suspect, another one, of course, could be, 13% of the population commit 50% of the crime, it could be these people are savages, the whole 9 yards that if you are familiar with racist people, they say all the time. It's the same exact shit for all these conservative videos when something happens, okay? And you see it all the time, which brings up the obvious question, okay? If you're a right winger and you're generally not a racist, why don't you call out the people posting these comments, okay? Because all of these channels that are right wing, I always see every single one, not even a small percentage, every single time there is a topic related to race, you know, like they depict a black person as a criminal. I'm not even seeing people criticize the situation. I'm just seeing racist comments, okay? And the thing is, if you are truly not racist, okay, whether you are a right-wing politician or a right-wing influencer, like a YouTube video content creator, in other words, whatever, the truth of the matter is, why aren't you calling them out for that, okay? And that's a question I want to freaking ask, okay? Why aren't you calling them out for that shit? To be quite blunt and honest with you, okay? Why aren't you calling them out for it? And the thing is, I'm not saying necessarily, okay, that, you know, that people cannot post negative comments, okay? Because I always hear that shit all the time. Well, it's freedom of speech, it's freedom of speech, it's freedom of speech, it's freedom of speech. I'm not saying I want to take away people's freedom of speech, okay? Even if somebody says something stupid, as we all know, at least the people who are actually smart and intelligent and understand how democracy works, we all freaking know, okay? You should never take away people's right to freedom of speech, okay? That is the honest truth when it comes to freedom of speech. Well, even if someone says something extremely stupid or dumb, and even straight up hurtful, you don't take away people's right to freedom of speech, okay? That is a human right that should never, ever be taken away. So I'm not saying, for fuck's sakes, okay, we're taking away your freedom of speech, okay? No one is saying we're taking away your freedom of speech, okay? I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that if you have people who are posting so many freaking racist comments, okay, and you're trying to prove like you're not racist, why don't you call them out on it? You know, why don't you speak and say, hey, you know, racism is not the answer and this and that, instead of just sitting there and just letting these people say these comments, because it makes it kind of obvious, you know. And if not obvious, it makes it very suspicious that you probably think the same way they do, okay? Because anyone knows anything about leadership knows that a leader, if his people, you know, his followers are saying something that he's not comfortable with, should confront them about it. Okay, everybody knows this, even when it comes to basics of leadership. Okay, so if you're a leader in this way and these people are obviously your followers, let's keep it real, let's not mix up words, you know, here they are obviously followers of you, so most of their opinions and views are highly influenced by your opinions and views. Okay, then why aren't you confronting them on the shit that they're doing? Okay, you're, as a leader, you're supposed to challenge people's beliefs. You're supposed to confront them about it, especially for a topic as sensitive as race, you know, to be quite blunt and honest with you. And you're trying to prove, okay, us right wingers, we're not racist and this and that, you know. Why don't you confront them about it so people can start maybe changing their views? Because the truth of the matter is, the reason why so many people hate the right is because of this shit. And that's why so many people do not vote for the right wing, no matter what, even when it's as clear as day. Yes, this right wing candidate is making such a good point, because anyone who's a minority, especially black, knows about the shit that they used to do to people of color, okay? Especially if you're black, okay? Back in the day. So why the fuck do I want to support someone who has views that are very hurtful, hateful, and just straight up discriminatory towards me? And that's exactly what I'm trying to say here, you know, about it, about the right wing. A lot of them have been doing this shit for years. They've been sending out policies, you know, to people and stuff that are very hateful and hurtful. And when I'm seeing someone who might actually be a bit different, you know, at least what they're claiming from the surface, and I see just a shitload of racist comments for their videos, it's kind of an indicator that, yeah, you're a racist too, you know, to be quite blunt and honest with you, you know? So why the fuck am I going to support someone who doesn't confront his own people when they say something that you're not comfortable with? You know, or I should say, in other words, that is not right, you know, and goes against what you're trying to claim that you are. It's kind of contradictory. As the saying goes, you are the company you keep. So if you're just having people do all these effed up things, as well as saying all these effed up things, you know, and you're not confronting them on it, it shows that you are exactly like them for that matter, okay? Especially under certain circumstances, you really are the company you keep. So, in short, to answer your question, if you want to know why people don't support the right wing, it's not only because of their racist policies, it's because these people do not confront, you know, the stuff that these people are saying that online as racist and hurtful, because it makes it as a result, kind of obvious you probably think the same way they do. So that's the honest truth here. So now that I've discussed that, let's get to the moral of the story, okay? Which the moral of the story is that sometimes in life, whenever people do not support something, don't just jump to conclusions and make assumptions about them. Sometimes when people do not support someone or something, there's actually good reasons for it, okay? Instead of just saying, oh, you're an uncultured person, you just want to keep yourself in a bubble, blah 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 blah. Sometimes there's actually reasons why people think the way that they do, even though it might seem bigoted to people's, and that is the truth. So anyway, this is my video. Just remember, if you like this video and videos like this, remember to thumbs this video up and hit the subscribe button. And this is off the saying, simply put it, I'm out. So bye.